session of our virtual retreat. We have a fun and exciting afternoon ahead of us. First up, get ready to smile as Swami students reminisce on Sai's humor. After that, we have a musical treat for our ears by Sri T.V. Hariharan, coming to Region 3 all the way from Bangalore, India. You won't want to miss this program, so sit back and get ready to enjoy. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Let us offer our humble salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Shri Satya Sai Baba. To all the elders, brothers, sisters and children, a very loving Sai Ram and happy and holy Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr to each one of you. The Prophet Muhammad used to sometimes lovingly call one of his disciples as the one with 2 ears. Those around him were bemused initially as to why the Prophet was calling the disciple that way when everyone had 2 ears. It was later that they realized that the Prophet was not referring to the physical ears, but the attentiveness with which that particular disciple listened to the Master's words and his adherence to the divine guidance. In those light-hearted words of the Prophet, he was conveying one of the core attributes required for every spiritual aspirant. After paying obeisance to God and his Guru, Adi Shankara in the Viveka Chudamani writes, Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham Atah Punstvam Tato Viprataha. Among all the beings created by the Lord, to get the birth of a human being is the most rare. Rarer still is the life that is led with love, service, and devotion as the guiding principles. Adi Shankara goes on to say that even rarer than such a life is to actually get the guidance of a true spiritual guru, and that is a result of merits of several lifetimes and the direct blessings and grace of God. We are all fortunate that the very Lord took the advent of Satya Sai Baba and in his infinite mercy brought us all under his guidance and chisels each of our life through his sublime teachings, selfless love, and the sacred life that he led. Once when Swami was inaugurating a newly installed centralized water heating system in the hostel, the new faucet gave way and it ended up splashing a lot of hot water on Swami. While those around him were petrified at this new development, Swami jokingly remarked that their intention was to offer and dedicate the new system to Swami, and truly Swami was the first one to receive a shower in the hot waters. Such is the humor of Swami that conveys the message behind the disciples' yearnings. Much like Prophet Muhammad, Swami had a unique mastery over words. He could convey the most complex into short, pithy statements that were sometimes really funny, jovial, at the same time conveyed the message without losing the profundity. Today we have 5 alumni with us who studied not only their academic lessons, but more importantly, spiritual lessons at the lotus feet of our beloved Master. They would be sharing with us some of those moments, memories, and messages that they imbibed at the lotus feet that continue to guide their life. They were witness to and even experienced themselves the wonderful way in which Swami transformed the heart of a devotee. Their study at the lotus feet has spanned about 3 decades, but Swami's message and the unique way in which he communicated them remained the same despite the passage of time. The wit, the humor, the jest that Swami employed did not in any way dilute the core message that has remained as the hallmark of this particular advent. Love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. First, we have Brother Venkatesh Iyer, who studied in the Prashanti Nilayam campus from 1981 to 1988, and he was also part of the Prashanti Mandir Bhajan team. We have Brother Ravi Mariwala, who studied from 1982 through 91 and was later handpicked by Bhagwan to serve in the newly inaugurated super specialty hospital, which he did for 14 more years, basking in the physical presence, love, and wisdom of Swami. Next, we have Dr. Balu Karanam, who studied from 1978 through 1992 in the Prashanti Nilayam campus. We have Brother Girish Jandiala, who studied from 1997 through 2007. And we have Brother Nikhil Kaushik, who studied from 2005 through 2007 in the Prashanti Nilayam campus. With this, I now turn it over to the wonderful array of speakers that we have with us. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Satya, for your wonderful introduction. Yes, this is a like one of the rare kind of discussion of Swami's humor. God, when he takes human form, God is having 64 kalas. That's what it says in scripture, saying that he is good in all that 64 kalas. One of that is humor. Humor is one of the kalas of the kala is aspect of God. So he is also perfect in that. God is perfect in 64 kalas, so he is perfect in humor also. So as students of Swami, we had this wonderful opportunity to uh, observe some of these interactions which are humorous, at the same time teaching wonderful lesson and some kind of a spiritual meaning. So I start with an incident actually, like it happened in the darshan. It all used to sit at the one side and other side, facing us was devotees. So Swami was coming for darshan, and some of these devotees who came from coastal Andhra, if I remember, they were asking Swami for an interview. Usually, this is to happen every day in the darshan. Then Swami asked how many. Then they said about 15. Then immediately Swami put a question saying that Grupa Ganga. This is the question Swami put it. The minute Swami asked that question, they were perplexed. They don't know what to answer. Then Swami, the loving mother, he goes, he gives them some kind of a thread. Swami says, if there is a discipline, it is group. If there is no discipline, it is gang. Immediately they said, Swami, group Swami. See, this is the way it's, even though it looks very, humorous, but Swami is telling us, if you are a group, better be disciplined. No, otherwise you become a gang. You tend to become a gang, which gangs are not in organizations. Only groups are in organizations. This is a wonderful, wonderful incident. I thought to open this Sai humor, discussion. And also Swami always was like that. Actually, let us hear how Balasai days, in Balasai days, how did those devotees, enjoyed that humor of Swami. It must be much more levels. And who can tell us that? I think I'll, move to Brother Nikhil, who can tell us from Balasai days, from his grandmother who had a wonderful interactions with Swami. Saram Nikhil.
Sairam, Brother Balu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Satya. So I think I totally agree with you, Brother Balu, that first of all, I want to thank all of us to have given this opportunity for us to come and discuss a very unique dimension of Swami, of his personality, right? Very often we kind of place him at a pedestal of God or a guru, and we ourselves make him inaccessible to us. We ourselves make him unrelatable very easily, while he always lent himself to his devotees at a very, very personal way. We could have treated him as a friend, we could treat him as a family member as well. And the reason I particularly say that is because of one incident that comes to my mind. And I heard about this from my mother and my grandmother sometimes in late 1940s. This was in Pathamandiram. My whole maternal family were in Puttaparthi. And because there were so many people, all the elders were busy in working on some preparation for some event or some festival or something like that. And there were so many kids, close to about 20, 25 kids were there, all of them aged between like 8 to 12 years. They were just left to themselves. Nobody really bothered what they were doing. And all these kids just kept playing around with whatever they found there and running around. And at the end of the day, when it was dinner time, there was one lady, a loving lady, elderly lady called Sakamata. They used to call her Sakamata. So the Sakama lady brought a huge vessel filled with rice, right? Some rice dish to feed all these kids. Because there were so many people, and in those days, they did not have enough plates to give food. The arrangement was like this, right? So the Sakama lady sat in the center and all the kids sat around her. She had a huge bowl of food and she used to make balls of rice and ask each of them to make their palm in a cup shape and extend their arms. And she used to go one by one, just drop a ball of rice in each of their hands and go round a circle where all the kids were sitting. And because there were so many kids and she wanted them to go slow because she has to cover everybody till everybody is full, she used to give them really big lump of food, like a big, big ball of food. So she went around doing this. And after a round or two, she noticed that some kids were able to eat the food a lot more faster than the other kids. And for a time or two, she was a little curious to understand what is really happening here. And then it so happened that more often, these specific kids actually started to eat the food very, very quickly. And this kind of annoyed her. And she was an old lady with a very short temper. And she used to scold them saying, hey, why are you eating so fast? I have to do so much more work now because you're eating so fast. And the whole, the group of kids, or maybe I can call gang, Brother Balu, for these kids, laugh out loud. And she always wondered, what really is happening? I'm missing something here. And actually, she later on realized that when she used to give the food, suddenly one hand used to come from behind these kids. And that was Swami's hand. And Swami was a very small boy, about like 15, 16 years. And nobody noticed, it was late in the night, there was not enough lighting there, and there were 20, 25 kids. And Swami used to sit behind those kids and hide and slowly insert his hand while this Sakama used to keep giving food. And now it appeared that, I took the food and very next moment, I'm actually extending my hand again. And Sakama used to feel very, very, angry and more importantly, perplexed, I think, on what was really happening. And after doing that, Swami used to go around different places in the circle and insert his hand and take food. And everybody used to laugh around that. And such a prankster he was. And then finally he got up and said, Sakama, this was me. And she was like totally blown apart and said, Swami, when did you come here? I didn't even know you were actually eating what you were giving the children. And all the kids used to, hug Swami and they used to have a good laugh around that. Such was the Swami giving himself to the kids, being a child among children, giving himself to all the devotees to make him one of the family members, never really cared. While all the elders prepared for a big event, he was here eating food amongst all the children, right? So I feel the more we try to remember such instances, that he actually was one of us. He actually meant to be one of us all the time. We can make him ours and we can relate to him a lot more at our own level. And I think even eventually, not just at a human level, but even eventually after a lot more devotees started coming to Parthi, there were different ways in which he used to show this, right? Not at a physical level, maybe even at a divine level, he has played a lot of leelas. Brother Girish, you were also having some very interesting experiences with Swami, so would love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, Sai Ram, and thank you, Nikhil. I think you beautifully put it, Nikhil. I mean, a devotee once asked Swami, we've read a lot about you. We have understood whatever the scholars we are trying to understand whatever the scholars are trying to put around you as a phenomenon as to who exactly you are. Swami, who are you? Was the question posed to Swami. Swami beautifully put it, and like inimitable style, right? Nobody else could give answers of that kind. Swami said, I'm a man among men. I'm a woman among women. I'm a child among children, alone I'm God. And then it goes back to what you were saying as well. I mean, you, again, back to what Annamacharya said in one of the songs that he sung, and Swami many times sang it himself. Anta matramuna evvaru talachina anta matramene. So wherever you put Bhagwan, he comes down to that level. And Swami gives in his own that avatar declaration speech, అవతరించుటానుట్లో అర్థమేమి జనులపై ప్రీతి వాత్సల్య పరతతోడ వారి స్థాయికి దిగి వచ్చి భూమికి జీవ ప్రజ్ఞతో పాటు జరుగుతుంది. I think he comes down to our level so we feel akin to him, and then we develop a bond. Even that job of making us feel akin to him, he has taken upon himself. While it should be our responsibility to try and develop this bond, Swami said, no, you are not doing it at the speed I want, so I will actually speed up the process. So he's actually created the relationship with all of us. And this humor, while we talk of Swami as a facet of him, his personality, humor, it always accompanied by another facet of it, which most of the times could be there is one incident at this juncture I'm reminded of that happened to me. I was fortunate to be at the receiving end of particular one. This was the time when the Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Hanuman statue is being built. If you see today in Prashantinilayam, as we are walking past the South Indian canteen and trying to come towards the mandir, there is this beautiful statue that you see today that we can all pray to. This was being constructed at that point in time. So Swami every day would make it a point to see the progress of the construction. So he would make the special visit to go to the back side. So the students, especially those who are sitting in the back, would get the special opportunity to interact with Swami, to be close to Swami. Otherwise, usually students who are in the front rows only get to meet Swami, because Swami is in the interview room and in the front Ganesha portico and so on. So this was a great opportunity for many students to interact with Swami. And so one such day when Swami was planned to come, everybody else was prepared to interact with Swami, while I was not really that prepared. But then as Swami was walking past the students, he already started his walk, then I had a desire in my head to give a letter to Swami. But then I had not written a letter, neither I have it ready with me so I could pass it on to Swami. But I had this desire, and so I'm seeing Swami taking a lot of letters as he was coming by, so he was in the perfect mood. So I wouldn't be disappointed was my feeling as I was watching him come by. So I quickly grabbed a notebook, tore off a piece of paper, and it's my habit to start off with Sai Ram on top, because if Swami were to read it, I thought at least that would be a brownie point to start with. After that, of course, it's going to be all your problems that you're going to share with him, but at least to start off with. So all I could do on this letter is Sai Ram. And before I completed writing Sai Ram, Swami was already in front of us. And then there was this hustle bustle around me. So I had to quickly fold and wasn't sure if I'm going to give Swami this letter. So I just folded it and put it between my hands, and then was trying to hide sort of, and Swami stretched his hand out to reach out for this letter. Now I'm still thinking if I should give this letter or not, and Swami reaches out, he almost pulls it out of my hand and says, empty letter, empty head. So while this is very funny to listen to, but also the step up to that incident, to this experience, again, it's Bhagwan, it's not just a joke, right? If we stop at the humor part of it, that is a joke. But then if you really take it up as to what did Bhagwan really say, it's his omnipresence that is on display in this incident, or even my foolishness in many ways. But more importantly, the omnipresence of Bhagwan. We try to see, I mean, what exactly is omnipresence we think of. We begin to say, okay, maybe if I tell my neighbor, Swami can listen because he's everywhere. Or maybe if I write it down, Swami can peep into my diary and see what I've written it down. But actually, this is just a thought that has passed in my own head from maybe one membrane to another membrane. And even there, Bhagavan resides and he is reading our thoughts. So I think that goes to show Bhagwan, of course, in a humorous sense, he's come down to your level because you are a joke. So he needs to make a joke to you and me, especially. So I understand that Bhagwan I can be akin with. He's my friend. I can interact with. So something that I always cherish. See, Bhagwan is with me. He's watching every little move of us. One more, but I will come back in a while. We have amazing lineup of speakers here. Brother Ravi, if I could ask you to share some humor around Swami and among so much time that you've spent with Bhagwan.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. And I'm actually enjoying listening to you all. And it reminds me of the days in Parthi when the same thing would happen, when you are happily sitting and clapping your hands and singing very animatedly, and then with a flick of his eyebrow, Swami will say, "You are next." And your consciousness will sag down, because now your time is up. You have to stand on the stage and say something relevant, something good, and basically give a speech, but you have no time to prepare. So the joke is on us in that sense, because I was enjoying so much hearing Brother Nikhil taking us back to the 40s. And that was amazing. I mean, we would give anything to be part of those days once again. And then you brought so beautifully that personal interaction, which was coupled with the teaching. And to take up from there, what I was thinking is, while Swami used humor, which was one aspect of his personality, his very integrated personality, he would spontaneously be able to leverage or make use of these aspects of his personality so easily, so spontaneously. And both of you brought out the aspect that he used it to make himself relatable too, right? But I also wanted to, and I completely agree, but I also saw him use it to continue to teach. And as any professor would do in the course of a session with his students, he has to mix it up. So I remember sometimes going into the interview room and we would be packed there. We would later on try to count how many boys were there, and we would exchange notes that how on earth did, I don't want to say the numbers, it might shock some of the listeners, but it's been upwards of 40, 45 people many times in that little interview room. And not only would we try to then count how many people were there, we would also go back to the hostel and count how many times during that 1.5 2 hour session Swami had mentioned the word Atma. And I remember on Atma, which means soul. And on one occasion, I remember us playing this little mischief counting trick. And we counted how many people were there. And then one of us said that, there were actually 29 times during that discourse that Swami mentioned the word Atma. So, two things. One is the word Atma or soul, pointed us to the fact that Swami was here with a divine mission. And therefore, in that light, I saw that Swami often used humor to mix it up, because after all, he was dealing with adolescents. All of us were between the ages of 16, 17, and then later on even younger, and 25 or so. And on many occasions, I saw him, relate very difficult, abstract spiritual concepts to simple everyday gadgets, objects, or events. And all of you know him. I was there personally when he used, this correlation between God and ice cream. And he said, God is like ice cream. And then he went to detail it. And, we were the older students sitting on this side. And I could not help but notice what was happening on the other side, opposite to us, where the primary school kids had gathered. And then it struck me why Swami was using this simple analogy. And I couldn't help but notice that these little kids, first grade onwards till the seventh grade, suddenly sat upright and started taking it all in. And that's when I realized we are not in the presence of an ordinary person. He's not just a teacher of conceptual spiritual ideas. He can convey things, he can go to your heart. He knows the royal path into your heart. And then, of course, I don't want to dwell on the similarities between the ice cream and God, but to top it all, that is the humor that he embodies. He said, Ipudu chalu, idi anta matladam chalu. And he said, now bring the ice cream. And we thought, how is ice cream going to be stored in the mandir, because that quantity of ice cream. But Swami had apparently made an arrangement for a delivery truck to come in on the other side of the mandir. And with a split sense of timing, the moment he concluded his, conceptual teaching about God being relatable to ice cream, the ice cream started flowing in. So I couldn't help but appreciate that, oh my God, Swami, you are a master teacher, master communicator. This has gone to their hearts, and now it's also going to our tongues to really taste that, oh, ice cream is sweet, as is God. So with that, there are many more small and similar incidents I have, but uh, I'll bring Brother Venkatesh in as well, because he's my senior. And I often remember Brother Venkatesh as a great cricket player, but he has many other achievements to his credit. Great harmonium player, lovely singer. So Brother Venkatesh, over to you.
Saram Ravi. So heartening to hear Girish, Nikhil, and Ravi speak so eloquently. I'm not an eloquent speaker at all, but with whatever experience I have with Swami during my time in Vrindavan, I would like to share with you. I know Swami is full of humor, right? Any photo, any picture you see Swami with the boys, it's always that he has cracked a joke, and then everybody along with Swami is laughing, bursting, into laughter. That's the picture consistent wherever you go. So, but the fun apart, jokes apart, humor apart, uh, the bottom line is all this humor and fun that Swami does with his students. There is a life lesson behind it. There is a sublime message, not only for the student who is receiving it, but also to mankind. So it is better that we share it with everybody, so that it's not kept to yourself. And then along with the humor, you also tell the important lesson that needs to be shared, which is more important than the humor itself. So to me, humor, Swami has proved his potency, his power, and also his omniscience. So one example I would like to share today that kind of tells us how Swami carries your burden with, in case you are in difficulty without your knowledge, without you being aware of it, and how he puts it across to you. That's the humor here. But the lesson to be learned in this humor is Swami is always there in our life to carry the burden. So there was a time in Vrindavan where we as a group wanted to please Swami with a performance, a gymnastic performance. It's the first of its kind ever attempted before it came to Puttaparthi. It was first attempted in Vrindavan. And two army officers were recruited to teach uh, we student how to do some flips and backflips and vaulting and all those things that we never dreamt of doing it. So Swami was involved in the process of picking what each can do. So I was selected because of my weight. I was very thin. I was so thin that the only thing I could do was vaulting, because it doesn't need much of a takeoff, I guess. Because of my lightness, I can vault very easily. I was very thin. So vaulting was my role I was supposed to perform in that program. And being weight was very less, so all Swami said everybody who is thin should be given ragi milk every day night. Ragi milk. So we were kind of fed with ragi milk, so much of ragi milk, because Swami said that we all bloated up, and became heavy. The lightness went away, and we were like becoming very heavy. So there were a lot of many strict practice sessions that were done, sometimes with Swami, sometimes without Swami, with this army officers. And you know how strict they are. And I think one of the officers, if my memory serves me right, is Kishanji, right? I mean, is that right, Girish? Do you remember anybody?
Yeah. Kishan Lal and Bhim Singh.
Kishan Lal.
Yeah.
Kishan Lal and Bhim, both were there.
Yeah.
Kishan was very strict. He used to literally hit us in Swami's presence. Swami's presence, he used to hit us. It was like so strict, very, very army strict. So we were doing a lot of practices. The day came, and the light was not good, because when we practiced, understand that it was a bright day in sunshine. But the actual event was in the evening when there was no sun.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have this springboard. We have to hit the springboard. We have to take off from the springboard, go over the wall, flip in the air, and fall on the other side, where you have a lot of seniors, everybody waiting for you to catch you as you fall. That was my thing. I was very good at springboard, somersaulting it over the wall, and going on the other side. But the problem is, it was evening. Just before the jump, Kishan Lal comes to me and said, remove your specs. Remove your specs. I have a short-sighted lens. I can't see far. So he said, remove the specs. And I was forced to remove the specs. I could not see anything in front of me. Understand that I have to run about 100 meters, hit the springboard with my 2 legs, do a somersault flip, and go to the other side. That was my thing. And Swami is watching, the whole devotees, everybody is watching. The light is very dim. There's a focus light on me. I couldn't see anything. The light was hitting my face. And I was running blind. I was literally running blind. And it so happened that as I was running, as I was getting close to the springboard, I did not land properly on the springboard. I don't know what happened. I just went in the midair. I did the somersault. It was a beautiful flip. And somebody caught me on the other side. That's what happened. And I was till today, I don't know how that happened. I don't know, because I didn't land properly on that springboard. But I just took off so wonderfully. I floated in the air and went the other side. So that was the event, and everybody applauded, and what a wonderful vault you did. And then I knew within myself that something has happened there, because I did not do the vault properly at all. So next day, in the session in the mandir, where the bhajan boys, we all went inside. Swami was, he was congratulating everybody. And then he asked me, calls me Iyer. So he said, Iyer, you did a wonderful display. It was very nice. He said in his own way, in Tamil. He speaks to me in Tamil. So I said, thank you, Swami, but I don't know how I did it. Then Swami jokingly said, you were very, very light before, but I really had to carry you so much because of your ragi that you have eaten. You have become so heavy, I had to literally lift you with all my strength to make sure you cross safely. So that was the humor there in front, and everybody started laughing. But the point to note here is, Swami said in such a way that it was so humorous. Everybody thought he was joking, but no, he literally lifted me off the ground, because there's no way without my specs I can do a vault. So that's something I think I would like to share with all of you. That's something that to date, I mean, till date today, I don't know how that thing happened. And without Swami's help, this wouldn't have been possible. So I just want to share this.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
Huh?
Very
Thank you.
nice. And
Yeah,
also nice
Balu, with
adventure
that-
you narrated.
yeah, that
And
reminds
there are
me.
many more I want to kind of share, but as we get into it, I would like to share more experiences. But now I think I will give it to Balu.
Sairam, that reminds me, like actually when you are taking out specs, literally put me somewhere else actually because you don't know where you are going. So this happened to me, like Swami will have, if you are really humorous, Swami will become superlative humorous and he'll play with you. That really, that I can tell you with my own experience. See, I used to have this habit of writing Telugu poems because I wrote bit by bit, it became a habit. And I used to give it to Swami and he used to take it. I used to love it. And I was very happy. If you ask anyone who has seen me, always laughing. I had another friend called Raghunath Sharma. He used to laugh 2x of me actually. So when we are together, like there was a thing in the hostel that most of the teachers used to tell these two should not be in one room. That kind of mischievous we were. So for mischievous people, God will become much more mischievous actually. So I used to write these poems, and at one time I felt I was really realized. Actually, I can tell you all because I used to be very, when Swami takes poem, I used to go into some kind of jnana samadhi kind of for few minutes. Okay, again I'll come back. So and also some people liked my poems, some didn't like because those who liked poems became my close friends. Those who didn't like my poems, I didn't like them actually. That was my love al sarwal, as simple. So Swami was watching this because talent is God, as Swami beautifully said. But at the same time, with talent, you cannot get it to your head. Actually, there will be God who will be watching what exactly is doing with this talent. Swami is very good at plucking that, which is extra. He's a gardener who cuts the properly whatever is grown. So this is one incident actually. So one of the August 15th, which is Indian Independence Day, there was a nice announcement on the hostel notice board saying that those who think they are poets, please give your name for Kavi Sammelan, which is happening in college. So, one person called Shankar Nagar, let me, he was, that the name was there. So I thought this is the best time. Till now, only Swami has seen my poems. Let me, publicize, it's always better to show off. Then, you get much more joy, whatever, materialistic joy. God has taken his joy, but, we need to know, people should know that I am poet. So I took a nice poem, which I already gave it to Swami and went to this Shankar Nagar and he said, sorry, there is one A, Miss Sairam, who had given this poem, so you don't have any chance. So I felt what kind of people exist in the hostel. God likes my poems, but here they are not recognizing my talent. But anyway, it is done. One poet from one language, so I don't have any chance. It just 2 days passed, and I had a wonderful friend. I really miss him, Guru Prasad. He is from Mumbai, very very close to my heart. Actually, we both are walking from college to hostel at the lunchtime, exactly near Ishwar School. That's the school I studied. So this Guru Prasad tells me that he was in Kavi Sammelan. He was selected. He was doing share shairi kind of thing. He said, Balu, this Kavi Sammelan may not take place. I was happy inside, but sad outside because I showed who, what, raw, why. This is a beautiful way we, that's a. I was good at acting also. So I told him, what is happening? Why, man? Then he said, no, there are not many people from other languages. They gave, poems. We don't have all languages. India has 23 major languages, many dialects. Let's not go to Indian languages. There are like so many. So there were nobody for some languages, so we don't have this Kavi Sammelan going to happen. Okay, we walked a little bit towards hostel, and suddenly this Guru Prasad, he was from Mumbai. Those who are from Mumbai, Ravi is here. I can say even Venkatesh is here. They're very good at convincing you. I am telling you. This boy, my close friend, tells me, "Hey Balu, why can't you do one thing? Take a Kannada poem. No, take it, right. Just take a poem and give it as a Kannada poet." I told him, are you mad? Because a singer can sing any song, but a poet cannot say that without knowing language, I am a Kannada poet or something like that. I told him that. Then he said, no, man, everybody is singing, somebody's song. It is fine. It is just a, representing language. He convinced me. By the time we go to lunch together, I'm already reeling together. I can do this kind of, it's like a hallucination kind of thing. I'm getting into the Kannada poet kind of. So after lunch, I go to our warden. He was a Kannada speaking person. I got him a cassette. Those days, those we all know, remember, for hearing cassette also we need to ask warden permission. So I heard that Kannada song, wrote it in Telugu because I even now don't know how to write Kannada. Went to the same Shankar Nagar and gave him that I am a Kannada poet. He hugged me and said, Swami sent you. I didn't like his love, literally tell you, because when I came with Telugu poem, why Swami didn't send me? Why when Kannada poem only Swami sends me? I didn't like, this extra love and all. I was not interested that time. So then I came back. Then he told me one thing. Evening we are going for, darshan. Be, in front so that, we are asking Swami's blessing for this program. I never knew that it is going to Swami. But we went. Swami comes. Swami says, "Bye, same Chestunar." Usually, after the interview, Swami will be very, very close to, boys. He will ask about what they ate, what is the breakfast. He'll say buttermilk or water milk, this kind of thing. It's so as beautifully told by, like, Nikhil and Ravi and Girish, Venkatesh. That closeness, he used to talk like that. So that time, Swami, what is happening? Then this boy gets up, says, Swami, there is a Kavi Sammelan, like that, he told. With that voice also, like that, if those who remember Venkarna. So then Swami looks at the list of the people. My name is there, but language is misplaced, actually. Swami looked at me and gave a mischievous smile. Actually, I still remember that smile. I never knew what is happening, what is there for me, but I smiled back, saying that, oh no, Swami. Then immediately Swami said, I am coming after, bhajan to the institute auditorium. Let us do the rehearsal. Swami is already into the rehearsal mode. I am not even ready with the poem itself because afternoon only I submitted. Swami comes. Along with Swami, the three people, actually we used to call, that vice chancellor, registrar, and they used to accompany. So Swami sat, and each one of us was asked to go up and chant and sing our poem. So everybody goes up. At my chance, I went up and I sang. I thought that is Kannada actually. So I should tell you my background because being very close to Parthi, a village close to Parthi, we know little bit Kannada, like Saku Beku, like that kind of Kannada. My father spoke good Kannada, but he never wrote any poems. Neither we have any, anyway, these talents won't come by genes actually. So that is my background. I need to be, I tell that clearly. So Swami said, program chala bagundi, Swami said, and as soon as Swami said bagundi, all the people said, register and all bagundi Swami. Like they, when Swami says bagundi, everything is bagundi. Actually, it will go very well. Swami went and we are jubilation, we went, and all my friends said, we never knew you sing Kannada. They were patting me and said, you did really well. We never knew you sing Kannada. I was telling them until afternoon, I didn't know whether I can sing Kannada. So, thanks to this Guru Prasad, I'm into this. Little did, we stop. See, usually our conversations, won't stop at one level. When you speak more, you speak bad of others. Actually, that day we were talking how bad is Telugu poet, See, Balu, you would have been a better, Telugu poet. You wrote better Telugu poems. Of course, that was boosting up my ego and I was enjoying. Very next day, Swami gave interview. He closed the door. We all sat. Swami came and said, program is bad, 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 three times. Swami came and sat on the chair. I was sitting right next to him. I know. See, Swami is, Swami is all pervasive, I was thinking, Swami, yes, Swami, it is really bad. They didn't give correct people correct chance. Because, I'm a great Telugu poet. That was a thought. Not even it was complete. Swami says, where is the Kannada poet? So I was right next to him and said, what Kannada you sing? Swami is asking. Everything, I was thinking what I need to answer. And Swami said, that is not at all Kannada you sing. Totally, because I just, whatever I could remember in the afternoon to evening, I just chanted that. That chanting is the best thing because you learn by heart and you stay. Then Swami said, And that too, you are singing Purandardasa Kruti. Purandardasa is a Kannada, like a poet and composer. Then he said, everybody should write their poems. I thought that is done. I am done with this, interview. My Kavi Sammelan, everything is done. Let me touch Swami's feet as much as possible and say Sairam and end of the interview. So that's it. Swami said. Swami called Brother Sundarayar and told August 15th is too close. Don't do it on that day. For Krishnastami, 1989 Krishnastami, he'll say we'll do the Kavi Sammelan. So, but I am out actually. I decided that I am out. I came down on the outside. When you say it, the boys will say, super farmer, like that. They will touch. When you get interview, the boys will say, I know what has happened in the interview. The boys will be telling, what man, full farmer, like that. So then we get up and I was about to give up because, then they all said, Swami identified you. Another thing is Swami identified 3 weak poets. It's almost like a weakpoets.com, like that, 3 of us. So they said, I can't write Kannada. Then there comes another classmate of Ravi called Praveen. He used to write in Kannada. He came to me, see, Swami never gives troubles without solutions. The Praveen was a Sanskrit poet in the same Kavi Sammelan. He came to me and started talking in Kannada, because the minute you, any language this happens, if you start speaking that language, they all become your friends actually, because language has that affinity kind of. But Swami says you need to grow beyond those affinities. Actually, I'll come to that. So he came, he gave his poem. I was not convinced because it is not my poem, I used to think. But now Swami has identified weak poets. So he used to call us. He says, sing poem. I used to by heart this Kannada poem. The minute when Swami calls, I used to close my eyes and sing this poem. Swami says, Kallu Terichi Padu. Actually, the minute I open my eyes, the by-hearted poem vanishes and I can't sing anymore. Then Swami says, that's not the way, you should improve. I was thinking it's more like a kind of a, why this, Swami, why are you giving me this much trouble? Kind of. So finally the Krishnastami came, everything was over. Swami came behind the screen, before the program starts. Swami said, this is, you are the most weakest poet, take care. Bhayapadavaddu, Swami also said actually. Then I sang very well, very simple one. That was a very, even now I can, by heart it and tell you guys actually. I finished and I was very happy and said, because that semester I had linear algebra also. I need to study that also. But Kannada poem used to take care of my time. That's it. And we are happy. Next day, Swami gave interview. And Swami said, program came very good. Let us have another Kavi Sammelan for Dashara 1989 in Purnachandra. I said, my Lord, please leave me. And Swami said, you should do well to me, because he knows the weakest poet among all, actually. So then Praveen writes a poem and Swami calls for the rehearsals inside the interview room. Swami says, sing. My poem goes off. When my poem goes off, Swami says, that is not the way to sing, let me sing. So Swami sang a Kannada song called Jagadodharana. Because I used to sing, Swami, why can't you sing? Why you ask me to sing actually? It's better to enjoy you rather than. So the next time when I sang, I remember, that's like Swami saying, this is not the way to sing Kannada. You know how Sakama sang Kannada. Thanks to Nikhil, he said about one Sakama, maybe she's the one. Swami, I didn't know who is that Sakama and why she sang that song also. Because that kind of situation I used to be in. Then Swami remembers that 1940 song of Sakama, when Swami was entering her house. Swami sang that Mella Mellane Bandani Gopalakrishna. Can you imagine? Swami, there is a saying actually. Saiki Marapu Ledu Virapu Ledu. Saying that he'll never forget his devotees, nor he will mince his words. When he says, he'll say straight actually. He doesn't mince, he never sugarcoats his words. That is said by Swami only. So like that, Swami remembers her. So that's beautiful. And finally, one day Swami said, lot of people from Karnataka will come and sit in Purnachandra and hear your song. I was totally scared. Says, Swami, just finish with whomever Kannada speaking people in Puttaparthi. Why do you call all of them? Actually, I don't want anybody to hear my song. Then finally, this day came. I went and Swami told actually, that is the day I got scared and I held his hand and I told Swami, Bayam vestundi. Because saying that I'm not only, I can't, I'm getting scared. Swami said, ఎందుకు భయం వేస్తుంది నువ్వు చేస్తున్నావంటే భయం వేస్తుంది స్వామికి వదిలేస్తే అంత అభయమే he said, saying that if you leave it to him there is no fear actually. That's little thing we forgot. But the thing is, again, like a mother, he told, that's why I am asking you to see and sing. I'll be sitting in Purnachandra. I want you to see me so that you don't get, scared by that entire crowd. And I just managed my, that Kannada thing. And Swami finally comes and beautifully puts a shawl on me, saying that he is the best Kannada poet. Everybody knows actually what exactly happened. And see, we don't tell these things before that photograph. Photograph he shows this is the best Kannada poet, but I know very well that how bad I am, how bad was my Kannada. So this is a very some kind of a odd kind of experience, because if Swami ever wanted to throw me out of the Kavisammelan, I would have been happy actually. But he's not like that. In a centers, if somebody doesn't sing, we say, Sai Ram, we will give some other time. We won't say that you won't sing well, but we'll say very sweet, sugar coated. Oh, sorry, we will give some other time. There are not many singers. Not this singer is needed like. But Swami is not like that. When you are not good, he will make you good and he will make you to do. Because even though it is happens in a very humorous and funny way, there's a lot of lesson. Even entire my life, I'll be thinking why he gave me that chance, why he gave me so much, like I feel I'm not deserved Swami. But later on when I was reading, like what that's, he never, he'll never call, because they say that God gives the people, he can make people to do that thing, like that. He's the person who gives the strength so that you will do it. He doesn't need the professionals or the ones who are really good poets. He doesn't need. He wants the one he can train and he can do it like that. He gives that opportunity. This is one funny incident, and also like funny incident in the sense there's a lot of mix. I used to get scared of going into interview room. The same interview room I wanted to go many times. When Swami calls, I said, again, I need to sing this Kannada poem like that. So it went I had so many of that kind of interaction. But for a person who is very mischievous, so I can become more mischievous. That's what I want to say. And he'll give you even when he gives some kind of I don't call it trouble, he gives you that kind of situation where, Swami, why are you doing like this? But it is still enjoyable, actually. That is Swami. Over to Nikhil.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, Brother Balu, that you narrated this example, because one of the most hilarious and powerful incidents that has had impact on me, from what I have heard from my family members, my mother and my mother's sisters, is very close to what you narrated. This again, sometime I'd like to share. It's a little long. I'll try to keep it as crisp as possible. Sometime in, again, right, 40s, 50s, I think, sometime in 50s, my mother's sisters were, she has 3 other sisters, and they were all really young, about 10, 12 years old. They were all playing in Bangalore between the 3 of them. And in the play, they were actually singing some songs that my grandmother had composed. My grandmother had composed a lot of songs, and they were singing those songs. And suddenly it occurred to one of my aunts, her name is Sucharita, it occurred to her that why are we singing songs which somebody else has composed? Why are we singing songs that our mother has composed? Why don't we compose a song? Suddenly a thought came in their mind to say, why don't we compose? And they are 12, 13, 14-year-old girls, and they really don't know anything about composing any song. But they thought for a bit and realized, and apparently those days, there used to be a radio program called Bommarilu. And it used to play in the evenings. And that had a very catchy title song, Bommarilu. And the song went something like, Podama, Ika Podama, Inlaku Ippudu Podama. It's basically like, shall we go home? Because the program is about to commence now. Right? So it had a very catchy title song. And they suddenly thought they'll borrow this title song and compose a song on Swami. And they composed a very childish, but a very, sai-filled song, I should say. And I'll quickly state that song because it's a really hilarious childish song. It goes something like, Podama, ika podama, partipuri ki podama, భజనలు పూజలు అభిషేకంబులు కన్నుల నిండా చూస్తామా. And I'll summarize this in the English in a minute. భక్తితో బాగా భజనలు చేసి మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళి వస్తామా, మహిమలు చూపే మహాత్మ సాయిని కన్నుల నిండా చూస్తామా, నెల్లాండ్లుండి అన్నియు చూసి మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళి వస్తామా, ఎవరొస్తార్ పర్తిపురికి ఎవరొస్తార్, చెప్పండి చెప్పండి బిరబిర బిరబిర చెప్పండి. In their childish spirit, it basically translates to, shall we all go to Parthi? There are so many events that are happening there. Let us stay there for a long time and witness all the proceedings that happen in Parthi. Who is interested to come and join us for this Parthi Yatra? Please tell us fast. That's just like the summary of the song in English. And they composed this song. They all sang. They felt extremely proud of their new composition. They ran inside and narrated this and sang this to their mother. And my grandmother looked at them. Obviously, all the kids are childish. They've done something. And she said, very good, very good. Go play now. It's all good. Right? So she gave them a hearing and then said, good, and go. And that was it. They felt very happy. They felt some accomplishment there and they went back. Few months passed and it was summertime. And for their summer vacation, all of them came to Puttaparthi. They stayed there for a few weeks. And it was the day when they were all supposed to return to Bangalore. And in those days, Swami's grace, the family used to have a privilege of doing Pada Puja to Swami on the day they returned to Bangalore. Every time they went to Parthi, on the day they returned, they used to do Pada Puja to Swami. It's like literally worship Swami's lotus feet, offer it some flowers and put some kumkum and do puja to the Swami's feet. So this used to happen in the room which is opposite to the current interview room. And that room used to be called as Pada Puja room. And that's where every time then when they used to go, they used to do Pada Puja. So Swami came there and he was sitting there and my grandmother and all the elderly ladies were singing some really nice songs and they were doing Pada Puja. All the girls were also standing there. And my mother, who was really like 5 years maybe or so, she was actually leaning on Swami's chair and standing, right, when Swami was sitting. And then they were just doing this, and suddenly she blurts out saying, Swami, all these girls have actually composed a song on you. And these girls had such a horrific look on their face to say, no, that was not supposed to be discussed outside of what we had done. And they were trying to signal to her saying, no, that's not going to happen here. Keep quiet. And they were just hoping that Swami wouldn't have heard that. And Swami suddenly took notice of that. And she turned and said, what? And then she said, Swami, all these girls have actually composed a song on you. And Swami abruptly asked my grandmothers to stop singing. And she said, Apu, you sing. What is that song? You sing. And they were so embarrassed because they were clearly not ready for this. This happened sometime like few months ago. And this was not supposed to be sung in front of Swami. It was just like a play song. And it looked like suddenly the whole play had gone wild. So they tried to brush it off and say, Swami, no, this was just a play thing that we tried, not really like a song. So it's okay. We don't need to be singing it here. And Swami said, no. He kept insisting, saying, I want to listen to that song. Please sing now. And they actually somehow garnered some courage and sang the whole song of Podama, Ika Podama in front of Swami. And obviously they were not as happy as they were when they actually composed the song. But, in a very embarrassed state of mind and forced into something like this, they actually sang the whole song. And Swami kept listening to them and said, Chala bagundi, Santosham. And he blessed them, and suddenly all the elders, once Swami said Chala bagundi, they felt all relieved. It was not, nothing went wrong. Finally, the plane has landed safely, so it's all fine now. And Swami just blessed them, and then he got up and went out. And the whole troop, they all kind of, heaved a sign of relief, and then went inside the bhajan hall and sang for bhajans. Bhajans commenced. After some time, Swami came inside the bhajan hall and sat inside the bhajan hall. And then suddenly he says, Bhajan Apandi. And he stops the bhajan in the bhajan hall. When all of them is packed and everybody's singing bhajan, he stops the bhajans. And then he says to everybody, పిల్లలు సెలవుకు వచ్చారు కదా, పాట రచించి వచ్చారు. So he said the kids have actually come here for summer vacation. They have composed a song. పిల్లల పాటలు పాడండి. He again points to them and says, sing the song. And it was almost like, the earth gave away beneath the feet of these kids, because now it has gone to a much higher platform. There are so many public people sitting there. And Swami has stopped the bhajan and asked them to sing. But they had no option. Swami has in fact announced that they will be singing that song. So they all sang again. Swami gave it a patient hearing and again said, Chala, chala bagundi, chala santosham, and blessed them, and they all sat down. So I think it's a theme of today, Brother Balu, that, composing poems and Swami putting you in a spot suddenly without much of notice to make you sing. I guess the lessons are threefold, right? So one, I think all of us can become poets, I guess. Just kidding. So I think what I take away from this when I think of this incident is no offering is small to Swami, right? In whatever spirit, like when we make something, whether it is a childish play or we genuinely try to provide some great output, it's not really the output of how it appears externally, but just the bhavam with which you innocently offer anything to him, he accepts it. And secondly, I felt like, we all use it a lot of times very loosely. Like we take 10 steps, he will take 100 steps, and in multiples of 10 and hundreds, we keep saying that. If this is not a real life example of you take one step and give me something, I will take whatever it takes to give you that, acknowledgement, appreciation, and blessing. This very clearly demonstrates that he's willing to even put us in front of the world, because we make that one step and take that initiative to offer something with pure heart. So this incident has struck a deep chord in me all the time. And I thought it was a great segue into what you were actually narrating from your beautiful composition. Girish, brother, I would like to hear from you.
Thank you. I think it all boils down to the intention we offer anything to Bhagwan. Now, I was always fascinated by this great devotee of Bhagwan, Professor Anil Kumar. Many of you, all of you should know him, might know him as well. Great devotee of Bhagwan, literally daily interactions with Bhagwan. This is what used to be a thing of envy to me. Wherever I was sitting in Mandir, Swami used to make it a point to come outside of the interview room, literally as though to talk to Professor Anil Kumar. So the occasion was just made for him. Like it almost makes me feel, what would happen to Swami if Anil Kumar was absent one day? So right, that's the relationship between Swami and Anil Kumar. So one thing that I always used to see is we can't hear everything that Swami was speaking to him because of the distance. Sometimes if you're close, you could. But what I observed every time was that Professor Anil Kumar and Swami were heartily laughing. I do not know. Every one of us have somewhere Swami scolding us, or Swami telling us and giving us instructions, or guiding us as to how to go about life. I don't know. Just when I see every time those two speak, it just is so much of laughter. I think it just jokes between them. So I approached Anil Kumar one day and asked, Sir, Swami wants to joke with you. Swami wants to talk to you. And then he said something resounding to me. I think that is the sublime thing behind Swami's humor. Professor Anil Kumar said, humor is the medium. Bhagwan is the destination. I think at the end of it, that's exactly what all the brothers were pointing out also, that there is a subtle divinity that will come along with humor. So as a devotee of Bhagwan, our introspection, our path to Swami should just take that one step above the humor part of it. Just one quick incident, and then we want to listen to Brother Ravi and Brother Venkatesh more. So there is one incident. This happened on Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, again, it's a big festival in Prashantanalayam. Swami is wearing white robe, a special day in Prashantanalayam. So that's again a thing to see in Bhagwan's daily darshan routine. So Swami comes in this white robe. The whole program was over. At the end, there was this devotee that would come to Swami with a huge bag of chocolates for Swami to distribute. So the chocolate was also big. I mean, if it was a small chocolate, then it's one thing. Swami would just grab a few of them and throw towards the student. But this is big, like Swami had to hold with two hands. So it's heavy and long and big. And the bigger the gift, the more special it becomes, right? I mean, if Swami, we missed one small piece of candy from Swami, it wouldn't hurt you so much. But this big chocolate, now you really want it from Swami that day. So I was luckily sitting in one of the front rows. I took my little camera that day, so I had this camera boy opportunity. So I was in one of the front rows. And just when this devotee brought Swami and they were walking together, this devotee carrying the basket, Swami picking one by one and throwing. So they were big. The basket was overflowing. So every time Swami would put his hand to pick one or two would fall out of the basket. And since I was sitting literally right in front of Swami, where Swami was standing, they were falling on my lap. So one fell. I didn't take notice. I was still looking up at Swami. 2, 3, and some were falling on my knee and falling over. And then students behind me would fall on me and grab one of them. So all of this was happening, you can imagine. But I was sitting here thinking, no, Bhagwan did not give me one personally, because I felt I was so important that he had to hand it over to me, calling me by name. So I was not taking any one of those. Though they fell on me, they were just incidental. I wouldn't just take it. Swami, I'm still waiting for you to give me one. So that was what I was thinking while Swami was distributing to people at the back. Swami was pointing out to the students and throwing one. And then just when the basket was completely empty, Swami looks at the boys in the front row where I was sitting. Oh, because he was always throwing to the back. None of the boys in the front physically got from Swami except for me having 6 or 7 in my lap at this point. So Swami looked at all of us in the front and said, oh, me came raleda. None of you got anything. Oh, and he put a little sad face like, I couldn't give any one of you. And then he said, me came raleda because వీడికి అన్ని వచ్చేసాయి. He said, you guys did not get anything because I gave everything to him. And then it's subtle. It's subtle again. I was until then thinking, okay, this is just luck. This is just coincidence that everything is falling on me, but it's not what Bhagwan giving me. I mean, again, with Bhagwan, there is no luck. There is nothing called coincidence. I mean, imagine him planning our life so meticulously, step by step, that we would achieve and that we would go. And at the end, we sit back and say, okay, I was just lucky today. No, we were not lucky. We were blessed by Bhagwan. We are blessed by Bhagwan. It's him taking care of us all the time to make sure that we have what we have today. I think it's that deservedness that we have to pray to Bhagwan that he showers on all of us. So, Brother Ravi and Brother Venkatesh, please, I'll lead on to you, and you should spend the rest of the time sharing your experience.
Sure. Thank you. Beautiful incidents,
Very
very
nice,
absorbing.
Girish.
So, quickly, I just wanted to say that, see, some of the humor that we see flowing from Swami is verbal, but humor, can also be non-verbal. And Swami was a master of that, with a twinkle of his eye, with a nod, with a gesture. Also, he would communicate certain humorous things. And once I remember, I think this has happened to many people, but it also happened to us during an interview, that one of the boys got very emotional and said to Swami, Swami was asking each one of us, what do you want? And then one of the boys said, Swami, I would like to merge with you. But he was a stout boy and he was particularly well endowed. So Swami said, it's all good to have such desires, but see the difference in the size. So he was at the same time acknowledging that it's a beautiful desire to have. And so let me give you a couple of examples of verbal humor like we are all coming up with. And this is the time of the 65th birthday when Swami was, I was fortunate to be part of the first group of the band in Prashanti Nilayam. Before that, the band was there in Brindavan, and we were fortunate that Swami has these cycles of recreating and reinventing the older things so that more and more boys would get the opportunity. So I was lucky. In '86, I think he first selected a few of us to join the band. And, I remember some of the boys who were there, Krishnamurti Gopinath, who was a good musician. And I was acclaimed musician, bathroom singer, as you would call it. And then, so we had a lot of interactions because we were the first group of the band. And at that point of time in '86, this was in the month of May, the rest of the boys were doing Gram Seva, which is village work. So it was only a few of us who were fortunate to be staying back in the hostel. And we were also getting trained to play the musical instruments, brass band instruments, and trying to march. And as you can imagine, it was quite pathetic to watch us getting trained because everything was in disarray. And it's all very nice to see a well-groomed, well-trained set of musicians playing on their instruments, but you should not watch them when they are getting trained because it's quite chaotic and not fun. And least of all, it's a little bit of a cacophony as well. But Swami would come to the hostel quite often, and that's a very sweet part of these interactions, that each of the groups that were created, whether it was the speakers group or the boys who got an opportunity to speak in front of Bhagwan, the maintenance groups, those who attended to maintaining the hostel, the plumbing, electrical and other things, and the Vedam chanting group, all of us had their interaction with Bhagwan through the medium of that activity. So in our case, we were fortunate to be in the band, but it was quite an exertional exercise, right? Because we used to practice, I remember counting 15, 16 hours a day quite often. But on the flip side, Swami's grace was abundant. And one day he came to the hostel. There was sand in the middle quadrangle between the buildings. It's a rectangular building. And in the middle, there was sand. And we were marching. And he saw us marching. And he said, "So when are you guys going to learn the instruments?" And we were thinking we are doing a great job even by marching in that heat in Puttaparthi, holding our instruments. I was playing the clarinet, others were playing the bugle at that time, and then the trumpet and the huge trombones. And we thought, oh my God, this is enough for us, Swami. It's enough if we just can hold the instrument and march. But then he said, no, you all must practice a lot. And but that was the fruit of his being part of that group, that Swami was coming every day. Now, however, on the next day after bhajan, again the boys had gone for Gram Seva, village work to the nearby villages. To our consternation and dismay, we found that Swami has brought an entire group of VIPs along with him, couple of them in his own car, and he asked 3 or 4 of them to follow in the next car. And we were feeling very embarrassed because we were about 10 or 12 boys and we were completely untrained. I think probably only Arun Kumar Tiwari, who was a good keyboard player but didn't know anything about the clarinet, and Krishnamurti Gopinath, who was again a very good accordion player and was somewhat trained on the trumpet. These were the only trained musicians. And what happened is that Swami first said, do your stuff. So we had a bandmaster, he gave the command, we started marching. And like on the previous day, Swami said, okay, your marching has to improve, but what about your instruments? And we were looking at each other and saying, no, Swami, don't ask us to play, because nothing of any musicality is going to come out of us. We've been like 3 days on these instruments. And then, but Swami asked us, play something. So we tried to play together. It was somewhat of a cacophony. And, Swami tried to engage the VIPs and the guests who had followed him, and said that, they have started practicing only this morning. This is the first time they're holding these instruments in their hand. And then, so he was encouraging us, but at the same time, he was, telling us that we needed to do a lot of practice. And I want to cut to the chase, but over the next few months, we practiced a lot because Swami had given us a glimpse of what he could do. He would bring people to observe us. And, we knew that we needed to be ready because the band was going to perform in front of thousands of people during the 65th birthday. And so we had to be prepared. And so in that mode of excitement with the new band, Swami said, I'll get new clothes, new band dresses stitched for y'all. So by that time, the band size had grown, the group members had grown, and we were all excited. We went to the tailor. Not many people know that Swami lived in the Purnachandra auditorium in the green rooms. And in the same Purnachandra auditorium, Swami had some tailors sit there, and they took our measurements and they stitched very beautiful, ornate band dresses for us. And one day when we were sitting in the mandir, suddenly word came to us that all the band boys rushed to the Purnachandra auditorium. Swami is going to see your new band dresses. So we ran there, and we were not prepared for what we saw because Swami was standing with the tailors, and they were showing him actually the trousers and the shirts that we would wear, and we stood silently on the side. And by that time we were about 25, 27 members, and Swami said, come on, this is not enough. I have not come to see these dresses just like that. I want to see them on you. And we ran to different parts of the stage. There was a curtain. We quickly changed from our white dress and got into these dresses. Our names had been gently embossed on the inside of the collars, so we knew which was our dress. And then I recollect a very beautiful and funny episode, because as each of us walked down from the stage, Swami was waiting there, and and humor flew from his lips. To one boy, he said, "Hey, you are so fat, you are so stout that the half the material that I ordered to stitch the band dresses was used only to stitch your shirt and pant." And everybody broke into a laughter, so much so that the next boy who was going to emerge from the curtains was in dread that what is going to Swami going to say about me? Am I looking good? And so on and so forth. To the next boy, Swami said that, if Sai Geeta saw you, she would think you are competition for her. So, and all of this was being said. And at that time, the tailors were wondering, the people who had stitched the dress had put in so much effort. They had done this in speed mode. And they were wondering, have we made some mistake in stitching these dresses? And is this pleasing Swami, or is Swami just being humorous? And that way we had so much fun. And it's beautiful for us to recollect that it's not always necessary for Swami's humor to follow a divine teaching or a difficult teaching. He's also putting us at ease. And more than anything else, it told me that Swami wants to participate in our lives. He wants to be with us in the activities that we do, whether it is the band or the speaking group or the maintenance group or the Vedam group. And the beauty of it is that not only did he give us those very cherished memories, but he was also telling us that you, just like I have brought myself into your activities, into your skill sets, you continue to bring me into your skills, into your activities, and that way I will forever be with you. So, but what was outstanding is the fun that we had at that moment when we were, wondering, as this boy comes down the stage steps. Of course, there was no audience. As this boy comes down, what is Swami's next remark going to be? And I want to hand this over to Brother Venkatesh just by telling you what was Swami's remark when I emerged from the stage. And, unfortunately, uh, the tailor had stitched my trouser very loose. So I was dreading what's going to happen when I emerge, but I had to actually hold my trouser as I came down the steps. And that was, I really gave an opportunity for Swami to enjoy the moment. And he said, as I came down, he said, hold it tight, all the boys are here. So it is so beautiful that Swami is able to relate to our misery. Sometimes when you get a new garment stitched, and he was able to relate to that and give us that sense of entertainment, through this involvement that he did during our band dress stitching. I'll pass the baton on to Brother Venkatesh now.
Thanks, Ravi. Amazing story, amazing experience. Well put. We really enjoyed that. I think we have only 5 more minutes, I guess, right? So, like to kind of share quickly. I didn't prepare this, but Ravi was talking about instruments and music. So, just something that came up to my mind just now, I would like to share with you. It's a serious humor, not a humor, but a serious humor of Swami. So, it's something to do with our, bhajans, the way we sing bhajans and stuff like that. So I just want to share this. It's a very apt kind of serious humor. I'd like to share 2-3 minutes quickly. I'll conclude. This was in my final year, 1987, 85, 86. Brindavan, third year BSc, that I can never forget in my life, because all the seniors had left to Puttaparthi, and I was the only, I would say, a singer left behind, not gone to Puttaparthi. So those were the days. Swami started giving us opportunities, telling us that, are you a sinner or a singer, in a very joking way. And the first prasad I got from Swami in 1982, 81, 82 was Swami starting with saying that, are you a sinner or a singer? And that's when he created the vibhuti and gave it to me and applied on my throat. So I'm a sinner or a singer. Even today, I'm debating whether I'm a sinner or a singer. Trying to not be a sinner, try to be a good singer. This happened in 1988, just before we were kind of finishing our final year BSc. There were no singers. There were only few singers. So sometimes I used to get 3-4 songs to sing one after another. That was and I really feel today that the Swami was giving us that kind of an opportunity, that I didn't take it that seriously at that time because of the situation at that time. When you are in the situation, you get complacent, and Swami keeps telling you, you're all stunts, all empty vessels. He keeps making those comments to you, and there's a reason, because you get complacent and you think you take everything for granted. You take Swami for granted, and Swami keeps telling you, be serious. This is, you have to focus. This is one small experience of mine that Swami keeps telling for us not to do. Okay, so I was singing many songs that day. I started with a solo, then a bhajan, and then the third bhajan was going on. And normally, when the seniors were there, they used to play harmonium for us. But when the seniors like Sonam and everybody kind of went to Puttaparthi, I used to sing and play. So not realizing the fact that Swami was observing us. Okay, so I sang this song, just wrote down here, Kamala Netra Saishwara. So that's the song. Kamala Netra Saishwara. That song is basically glorifying Swami. So I am singing Swami's own glory in front of Swami. Again, I was playing harmonium and singing. After the song completed, Swami he listened to the whole song. And end of the song, he pointed out to the seniors there, devotees, Narsimhanji was there, the warden was there, Sudarshan was there, everybody was there. How did Iyer sing? Everybody was all praised to me, very nice Swami. All stunned, absolutely nothing. Empty vessels, absolutely. He kept saying that. He kept saying that in a very humorous way, saying that what I sang did not justify the song at all. So I was wondering why Swami kept making fun of me that day. I didn't know because I didn't realize it. So next day, when we were again going to the darshan in the morning, it was a weekend, and Swami was going inside the cage where the deers were there those days. And I got an opportunity to take the water to clean Swami's hand. That time I asked Swami, uh, can you please tell me what stunt I did? I was trying to do a good job, something like that. I said in Tamil, if I did something wrong, please pardon. You don't have focus. Your, what do you call for monkey mind? There's a word he used in Telugu for monkey mind. Balu will be knowing better than me.
Poti buddhi.
Poti buddhi.
Mm.
Okay. And saying your mind is going all over the place. You are focusing more on the harmonium than the song itself. So I realized, lesson learned from that day onwards was that you should never play harmonium and sing. Because when the moment you play harmonium and sing, your mind, your focus, everything is on the harmonium, not on the song, because you want to make sure that you don't make mistake playing harmonium. So from that day forward, I stopped playing harmonium, and I started playing harmonium after coming here to United States. So I just thought I'll share that with you. Balu, I think I'll hand over the mic to you, and you can.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wonderful to hear all of you. It reminds me like Swami had given me an opportunity to be a comedian in the drama. Actually, like he enjoyed the comedy, and more than actually, brother Ravi but Ravi also was in the drama. It is for 65th birthday convocation where the students are people who come and unite all the religions. That is the drama's concept. In that drama, we were fanatic Hindus, actually. Swami had given a villainy. Actually, it's very difficult to do villainy in front of Swami. That is a different thing altogether. Sundarayar was the egoistic, Harikatha master. I was the harmonium player. As brother Venkatesh says, I played harmonium only in the drama. That's it. I never play anymore. Actually, I can't even play. So I was the harmonium player who instigates Sundarayar against the students. Students come and tell what is the real uh, Hinduism. Then I tell my guru, who is Sundarayar, is well known. Actually, I had only one dialogue. I want to tell everybody here. Simple thing, if you do very perfectly, Swami loves it because he is perfection. So I used to say, he knows Sisava Shakena Katopa Munda Kamandukya. I used to say Munda Kamandukya. Swami used to laugh. It is almost like a curse, actually. Like to Sundarayar. Sundarayar feel as if he's, all. Finally, I'll say he knows Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all Vedas. I tell, Rigveda, Yajurveda. I used to say Ayurveda. Actually, immediately everybody is love because Ayurveda is a herbal medicine, not a Veda by itself. Actually, so Swami used to laugh and ask to repeat again, and he'll just laugh. Actually, I had that opportunity where God is asking, who is Ananda Swarupa, you can make him laugh by just a small action. That's really, I think, as a blessing. And also Swami used to, these rehearsals were much more, you know greater than the real drama. There is one scene, actually, still I can remember. There was a rich Christian man coming to the church. A beggar will, asking, Baba, give me money. So, give me, sir, give me money. Whereas this fellow says, hey, go, something like that. Because in front of Swami, it is easy to act like a beggar, not as a rich man who can throw the. Then Swami says, repeat it. We used to later on joke with that rich man. Hey, the beggar is better than you, man. Like that, in the drama. Then finally, when Swami got it correctly, because Swami is amazing director, that is a different discussion altogether. Swami said, see, that's what. Vesham Kuddhi Vyavaharam. Swami said, as per the rule is the action. Swami didn't stop there. He said, since you have a vesham of a human being, you need to behave like a human being. You need to be like a human being. That's the see. He can take a humorous thing to a spiritual, meaning. And I share one beautiful experience. It happened in front of all of the students in the portico. One evening, there was a rich, must be a rich person from kind of, Delhi, Bombay, I don't know. This man had come for Swami. Swami said, Kabaya, when did you come? Immediately when Swami gave, so much attention, this man, he's already, very light in color, but, all the blood is blushing. He became reddish kind of. he started running to Swami and fell on his feet and kissed his feet. Beautiful. Then while kissing and he said, Baba, tan man se seva karenge. Okay. Swami was immediately said, for dan se nai, he said. Because there is a three things actually with Meera, Surdas, all that if you read, tan man dhan, Swami says, three things we need to give it to God. Your tan, that is body, man, which is the mind, and dhan. So this man has forgotten dhan. Immediately Swami said, Fir dhan se nai. Swami, very casually said, but it has a profound message for all of us, even though it is everybody laughed and immediately he fell, said, Shama kijiye Baba, tan man dhan se seva karenge. Immediately Swami patted him and, took him like, that is the beautiful Lord Sai, loving Sai, and, always making us to laugh Sai. Finally, I want to conclude saying that there is a saying, Navvadam oka bhogam, Navinchadam oka yogam, Navaka povadam oka rogam. Actually, I'll translate. They say that when to laugh is a bhoga, it is an enjoyment, it is some kind of it gives a pleasure. And Navinchadam, to make people to laugh, is a yoga by itself. But if you don't laugh, that is a disease. If you're too serious, that is the time you need to call an ambulance. With that, I thank all of you for giving us this opportunity. Jai Sai.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, my humble pranams and salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, and dear Hari Uncle, loving Sairam to each one of you.
Sairam.
In the best interest of time, I'll try to keep this introduction as short as I can. On a high note, I'm 20 years and 2 months old, but there has not been a week that has gone by without listening to your beautiful bhajans for the past 20 years and 11 months. Dear all, bhajans take us from chaos to quietness, from anxiety to peace, from fear to faith and fortitude. Especially in Hari Uncle's bhajans, they are well known in this world for the bhava and the emotions. Before we move ahead, I also have a few of our young adults who have a few requests on some bhajans. On behalf of Region 3, I request you to share some of your experiences and touch up on bhava and feelings, and especially how to convey our offerings to Swami with emotions and feelings. Jai Sairam.
Sairam, thank you, Rashmi, for wonderful introduction. So nice to be back with all the brothers and sisters and young adults and wonderful children of our Sai family. It is Swami's decision that I should be with you on this wonderful day. It's wonderful that without traveling, without struggling, we can be at our place and then be with everyone. That's a beautiful thing. God has created this wonderful medium that as He is omnipresent, He has created this electronic medium for us all to interact with each other on this wonderful day. And the subject is bhajan. I think for Sai organization or for any human being, Namasmarana, that is the beginning and end of all. And the greatest thing, talking about bhajan, we had many avatars in this world. You can start from Matsya Kurma Varaha Dasavatar, then many avatars, till our Purna avatar, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, offering my humble pranams at his lotus feet. Why I offer at this time? Because now is the real start. And offering pranams, that word itself means something. Because I offer, I cannot offer. Because none of us can exist without His grace. So He should give that grace for us, that He should make us offer our pranams to Him. That is purely His grace. Otherwise, we cannot offer at all. So it is His grace we are able to offer our pranams at the lotus feet. As I was talking, many avatars came. There were not many devotees to sing the glory of the Lord. Only during Rama avatar, all the time Hanuman was saying Rama. And Lavakusha, they sang at one time in front of Rama his story. Krishna avatar, very less, except that everyone lost their consciousness in his beauty, in his miracles, in his doings. And after those avatars in Kali Yuga, many saints and seers and singers came, started singing the glory of the Lord. Krishna, Rama, Vittala, Parvati, Shiva, name the God. All the saints and seers started singing the glory of the Lord. Because this Kali Yuga is famous for Namasmarana. And in this Kali Yuga, we don't have to do anything other than Namasmarana at all. Just Namasmarana is enough to take us to that level of being one with Him. It is not just bhajan time. Oh, today is Thursday, I sing bhajan. This is Sunday, I have to go for bhajan. No. Such sweet name of Swami should reverberate at all time within our hearts. It does reverberate. People say, I'm studying, I'm going to office, I'm going to do business, I'm busy with housework. But heart says, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And the greatest thing for Sai devotees, even if they don't know to sing, in their mind they sing some bhajan or the other, because nobody to listen and tell them whether it is right or wrong, because it is their heart and it is God. So it is one-to-one relationship we have developed. Coming back to the subject of avatar, Swami, having taken the avatar, he brought hundreds and thousands and lakhs of singers and composers and bards for him throughout the world, not in one continent at all. Oh, Swami belongs to Puttaparthi. So he said Puttaparthi people who sing. No. He said Bangalore people. No. He said India people. No. Whole world sings his praise with so much of intensity and madness. This is what is unique in our Satya Sai organization. Nobody is bothered about the surrounding. The moment we go sit in bhajan and we listen to beautiful bhajan or any bhajan, all the people clap and sing, go mad. What does that mean? Swami says you clap all the negative energy. So you compare, like you create a noise. All the birds flies away from the tree. Like that you clap, and all the unwanted vasanas flies away from us. And we are pure sublime soul. We are merged with God's name because we are merged with Lord. Because it is said, Ram se bada Ram ka naam. Even but greater than Rama is his name. And Swami also sings, Rama nama me melu, Rama chintana chalu. So we do say, Sai nama me melu, Sai chintana chalu.
Saram Hari Uncle. My name is Jaydev, and I wanted to thank you for the wonderful messages you have shared with us so far, as well as the purposes of the avatar and the power of Namasmarana. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I was fortunate to be able to listen to your composition, Sai Shri Vidyavahini. And I noticed that the beginning of the song was very similar to a sloka that I chant regularly before exams. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyaramam Karishyame Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. With bhajans such as this one, I feel as if I can invoke the Swami within me to help me do well not only in exams, but also take a step further in my spiritual journey. Hari Uncle, can you please share the stories and the inner meaning behind your Sai Shri Vidyavahini bhajan, please? Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks a lot for asking me this beautiful question, Jaydev. So happy. As you rightly said, it was one of the days I got a phone call from Radio Sai. One brother called me up. He told, Vidyavahini is there, and we are going to have a conference of Vidyavahini in Prashanilayam. We would like to have a title song for that. So do you think you can give us? So I told, generally I don't compose because somebody can ask. But of course, if Swami wants that to come out, then it comes out. So I told, if Swami wants that to come out, it will come out. And I immediately only thought, Vidya means immediately Saraswati. So what we do, Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Sada, as you told, rightly told. So I thought immediately, for us Saraswati, who is Saraswati? For us Saraswati is only Saishwari, is Saraswati. Because I have not seen Saraswati at all. But I have been with Saishwari. And she gave me the vidya of bhajan singing and the composure. So for me, the straight Saraswati is Saishwari Namastubhyam. Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. So immediately I thought about this shloka. I made it for Vidyavahini. Then the song. What is Vidya? Does Vidya removes our darkness of our mind. Ajnana nash. All the ignorance. Swami says, Vidya. Swami says, when somebody asks, why did you start the college? Swami says, when worldly education, people will start coming, oh, Swami has started the college. I can be a student. And parents will feel, oh, my son will be a student. So they are happy. At the same time, they want their children to have education, become somebody in the world. But Swami says, aim is not just education. It is life, really a lesson for life, not for living. Swami says education is not for living, but it is for life. Now you cannot tell, I'm going to give spiritual education. Then people think, oh my God, then my son cannot get job. Then how will he earn his money? How will he protect his family? All those things. So because of that, Swami, offered worldly education, but he also offered that spiritual education where he removed not only for students, but for everyone, Ajnana Nashanam he did. So, Ajnana Nashini, Sugyana Dayini. What is that Sugyana? That Sugyana is that all of us should feel the divinity. All of us should see the world, understand divinity in everything. And that's where Ajnana Nashini, Sugyana Dayini, and the word goes Vidya Dayini Vidya Vayini. We have relied on that true knowledge. With means seed. This seed of jnana is vidya. So that on that we have to travel. And on that Swami travels Vidya Vahini, and he gives that Vidya Dayini also. So Vidya Vahini, Vidya Dayini, then Ashrita Vardayini, Vidya Vahini. Ashrita Vardayini. Whoever have taken refuge for that boon of Vidya, that Sugyana is coming. Now we run away from that. We cannot get that boon. To get that boon, you are dedicated. To get in the world, you want to get educated in the university, you have to pay a fees, right? And you have to dedicate your time, right? You refer so many things. For the world's sake, we are ready to do so many things. But for the higher purpose of life, for the higher purpose of life, how much we have to dedicate? Nothing. Just take refuge in the Vidya. Whether it is worldly education, you are surrendering. You say, oh, my exams are coming. Sit day and night. Refer this, that, project work. Go day and night. Then the boon of your degree is coming. Then the day, graduation day, mom, dad, everyone comes there. And they are feeling so proud. Oh, my son is graduating today. Imagine, for that we are so happy. Imagine we students, we were trained by Swami, and finally, though externally he gave worldly degree, some BSc, MSc, PhD, whatever it is. But what he really gave us was a person who will be so naughty, but that naughtiness changed into service activities. So he loves for service day and night. A person who is soft, what he has to be done. So make him sing powerful bhajan. Then he comes to that level of activity. And a person who is always full of thoughts, give him that bhajan, which can give solace to him and make him silent. So Vidya Vahini, Vidya Dayini, Ashrita Vardayini. Saima is Jayama, Saima. That Saima, whoever has surrendered to her, my dear young adults, if all of us surrender ourselves, what is surrendering? Not dropping all the activities. Whatever we are doing. Yeah, I'm doing my graduation. Surrender, Swami, this is yours. I'm doing masters. Swami, this is yours. I'm doing my PhD. Swami, this is yours. I'm doing postdoc. Swami, this is yours. I'm working, earning money. Swami, this is yours. So we are taking care of everyone around us. Initially for family, then world also we sort of, help So that is called surrender. Surrender is not something, Swami, I have surrendered. Some students, sorry to go extra with this volume. One student told Swami, one of the meeting, Swami, I want to surrender myself. And he cried. Swami told, if you say I'm going to surrender, that means you are different and I'm different. There is no surrender at all. You understand?
Yes, uncle.
Surrender means neither you have become one with me. You don't exist at all. So a person says, I am going to surrender. He cannot surrender. A person who is silent, silently do everything, understand it is God. So Vidya Vahini is for that. Along with the worldly education, they give the true spiritual education in Vidya Vahini. That is why these words came. Agyan, Nashini, Sugyan, Dai.
Thank you so much, uncle. Thank you for
Okay.
this wonderful message and the power of surrender.
साईश्वरी नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे विद्यावाहिनी विद्यारम्भम् करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा अज्ञाननाशिनि सुज्ञानदायिनि अज्ञाननाशिनि सुज्ञानदायिनि विद्यादायिनि विद्यावाहिनि वाजितफलदायिनि विद्यावाहिनि
Sairam, uncle. First and
Sairam Pallavi, how are
Sairam.
you?
Hari, uncle, thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful meaning of Vidya Vahini and such a good explanation of surrender. I myself am a high school student, and something I constantly do is I'm always stressing out and studying. So I put bhajans on to calm myself down. And there's one bhajan that I would really like you to share. I came across this bhajan when I was stressing out and studying, and I put it on to calm my nerves. And since then, it's always been a bhajan that I go to when I look for Swami's support and protection. And I know it's a personal favorite for many of my friends here. Anytime I feel alone or as if no one is out there, this bhajan is a constant reminder that Swami is always with me and that he is one that I can always rely on. I know we would all be so happy if you could share your experiences for the bhajan Avo Pyare. That would be
Sure, Pallavi. Sairam, nice to hear from you. This I will share. This was way back in Puttaparthi when I was a student. Swami, I was singing in the Divine Presence, and suddenly Swami told, you go work in the university. Swami doesn't like anybody to be sitting idle. So he told, work in the university. I told Swami, no, I have not come here for work at all. I have come here to offer bhajan morning and evening and be in that thought 24 hours of the day, praying to you, nothing else. I was telling in my heart, but Swami told, no, you cannot keep quiet. Idle mind is devil's workshop. You better go work. And then Swami gave me a job in the administrative building. So what's my activity? Morning bhajan, evening bhajan, and middle go to office, work in the university, get back, sing bhajan. Morning get up, sing Nagar Sankirtan, shout on top of your voice, and then go to have breakfast, go for work, get back, sing bhajan. This is what I was doing. One fine day, the work pressure was so much, I couldn't go for bhajan in the evening. Means I'm asked not to go for bhajan. And I was given instruction, duty is God. So do your duty. You don't have to attend bhajan. You do your duty. As far as I am concerned, my duty is more bhajan, not anything else. So I was crying. But then I was working because it is Swami's university. So I was working, I was crying. And then what happened? After all the work, it was a full moon day. So I came out from the administrative building on top of the hillock and looked at Chandrama, the moon, which was pure white, full moon. I saw that. And then I saw in that Swami's face, and I was crying, Swami, I am here to sing, offer bhajan to you. And what did you do today? You stopped me from attending bhajan, and I have to be here. And I didn't even have your darshan. It is night. I cannot have your darshan this day without bhajan in the evening. I feel really horrible. Then that time I thought, when I saw the moon, I thought, Swami, please come in my eyes. Aao pyare nayan hamare, sahi hamare aao. Swami says he is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. So I am welcoming him. Aao pyare nayan hamare, because the only love for anybody in this world can be God only. Okay, in the worldly sense, people get married, husband, wife, children, everything. That's okay. That's representation of God. But the truth is that Lord alone is the true lover for anybody, because his love is selfless. He doesn't expect anybody, he doesn't expect anything from anybody. So, when such a selfless Godhood, the Purna Avatar is there, I can't call anybody except Swami. Aao pyare nayan hamare, sai hamare. Tujhe bin koi nahi rakhware. Without you, there is nobody to protect me. Tum bin kaun sahare. Except you, who else can give me the support? So this all these things flowing, and the wordings and the tune, it was flowing. Automatically I was crying and singing. Not one time the bhajan came. I thought, oh, bhajan has come. So I went on crying. Came to hostel, sat and sang and cried out. Whole heart, because I missed darshan. I missed bhajan. Imagine, you are given the blessing of singing in front of Swami morning and evening, and one day you have to miss. How terrible it is. So that was what the feeling. So next day morning I went. I sat in the veranda, first row. I was sitting, few of us morning time, not all were there. Swami slowly opened the door, came straight, walked up to me, came near me, stood in front of me, put his padam under his leg, and after that he was telling the behind boy, there are some people who are very busy. They don't have time to come for bhajan. But that there are some people who are very, very busy. They don't have time to come for bhajan also. They are too busy, like that Swami. But what to do? I had to go. That word, I caught it immediately. He told in Telugu, ఎంతో బిజీగా ఉన్నారు భజనలో రావడానికి సమయం లేదు ఏమి చేయాలి నేను వెళ్ళాల్సింది ఐ హ్యాడ్ టు గో దట్ మీన్స్ స్వామి వాజ్ ప్రెసెంట్ డ్యూరింగ్ దట్ ఆఫరింగ్ ఆఫ్ దట్ కంపోజిషన్ आओ प्यारे नैन हमारे साई हमारे आओ. When he told this, I can only cry. I only cried. And I told Swami, how foolish I am that in my selfish way, I should sing in front of you. That is, I want to be present. But wherever I am, you are coming. And Pallavi and all the young adults and all the devotees, I always found in my life, all the time, Swami is with me. At any point of time, that conviction is more than 100% blessed by Swami himself. Sai Ram.
Thank you so much.
आओ प्यारे नयन हमारे साईं हमारे आओ प्यारे नयन हमारे साई हमारे आओ प्यारे नयन हमारे साई हमारे तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले तुम बिन कौन सहारे बाबा तुम बिन कौन सहारे तुम बिन कौन सहारे साई हमारे
Saram, Uncle. My name is Navneet.
Saram, Navneet, how are you?
Doing well. How are you? Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Pleasure mine. Song is great. Pleasure is mine.
So one bhajan that you have composed that I enjoy a lot. What I like about this bhajan is that its lyrics are very simple, but the meaning and the feeling is very nice. It's Sai Ram Hare, Sai Krishna Hare. The words are so simple, but the meaning is the feel behind the song is so strong and special. So we would love to hear from you what inspired this bhajan. And I've heard, I think, Kote Uncle sing this song, and it sounds beautiful. So we'd love to hear you just talk about what inspired this bhajan.
I will. Thanks a lot for this question, Navneet. All of us, especially as a student, every day we like to sing, offer our bhajan to Swami. So Akhanda bhajan was coming. Second week of November, all of us we call it World Bhajan Day. So we were excited because Akhanda bhajan, Swami will sit for more time. We can sing more bhajans and all those things. So in that imagination, I was excited so much. Exactly on Akhanda Bhajan Day, evening Akhanda Bhajan starts at 6, but by 11:30, 12, suddenly I developed shivering in the body and fever, high fever. I couldn't control myself. I immediately lie down and my body was thrown from earth to heaven. Because of that shivering, I was thrown. So much of shivering, I was shaking. I was with no body consciousness, high fever, like blabbering. I was blabbering. Like, we all say, listen, Sai Rama, all those things are coming out. Because it is high fever and shivering. But that time, when we are like Sai Rama, Sai Krishna, like that, we are doing, because we are brought up in that tradition of telling Rama, Krishna also. Because for everything, when you sit, you'll say at childhood, before knowing Swami, you'll say Hare Ram. When we get up, we say, we see elderly people, they cannot get up easily. They catch hold of the floor. They'll get up, they'll say Hare Ram. Some people say Hare Krishna, like that. So, for us, once we become Sai devotee, any Sai devotee, any explanation, if you say some happy news, they'll say Sai Ram, like that. If you give a very sad news, they'll say, oh my God, Sai Ram. For everything we get Sai Ram. So, when that fever was high, I was getting the name of Sai Rama, Sai Krishna, shivering. So that time that bhajan is coming, Sai Rama Hare. Because at that time, Hare, we can really praise the Lord. Sai Rama Hare, Sai Krishna Hare. Because always I loved two aspects of God is Rama and Krishna. A little extra because my grandfather was Rama's devotee and Krishna as an Atkatarya, very mischievous chap. I loved him too. So because of that, and I really always, many bhajans, the comparison keeps coming. Sai Ram Hare, Sai Krishna Hare. Raghupati Raghava Ram Hare, Rajiva Lochana Shama Hare, Sai Ram Hare, Sai Shama Hare. So Partipurishwara Sai Hare. For us, Rama is Sai, Krishna is Sai. So Raghupati Raghava Ram Hare, Raghupati Raghava Ram Hare, Rajiva Lochana Shama Hare. They are that, qualities are there. But for us, who is that? It is, Sai Rama Hare, Sai Krishna Hare, are that Rama and Krishna. And that Sai, which Sai I am talking about, Partipurishwara Sai. That is the basic thing. because I have seen Bharti Sai. I am living with Bharti Sai. That time I was living with Bharti Sai. So I can only think about him immediately. Akhanda Bhajan, Kote had come to hostel. I thought this classical oriented bhajan will suit Kote more. Though I had many singers of Puttaparthi and many other singers of Vrindavan, I sent word for Kote and he came with Swami. Stupid fellow, you are having high fever, you are shivering. Why are you disturbing yourself? I told Kote, please, you be here. Then I asked somebody to get the harmony. I was lying down. I sang this bhajan for him. I made him sing with that fever 35 times. And he became a master and he is one of the best melodious, fluent singer. And Akhanda Bhajan the evening in front of Swami, the first session, Kote sang this song was in bliss, devotees were in bliss. And the beauty, I attended that bhajan because malarial fever stays for only some time every day. If it is afternoon time, every afternoon time that comes. Evening I was perfectly okay. I went to join the bhajan. I played harmonium and he sang. It was wonderful. So compositions comes from cosmos. Whatever may be the condition, you are sick, you are not sick, you are happy, you are sad, whatever it is, if God decides that He has to put in your empty mind that, He puts that in your empty mind, that then that becomes from the heart. It doesn't from the mind where you sit, tune it, compose it, and give it to people. No, it's not. It enters for all the people, any musician, God enters and gives that. That's how they are. Nobody can say it is mine, or I sing, or I compose, I did this, I did that. No. He puts it, He brings out. That's it. So,
Thank you for sharing that. I'll pass it on to Manasi next.
thank you, Sarah.
Sairam, uncle. So as you mentioned earlier, Swami always says that in this present age of Kali Yuga, the path to self-realization is best achieved through Namasmarana. Your bhajan Jeevana Jyoti Tum Ho Sai reminds me of a song we sing here at our Sai Center. It goes, light the lamp of love within my heart, dear Sai. Feel it with your love, divine, oh let it shine. But the most beautiful line goes, I am in the light. The light resides within me. When I see you, Lord, then I know I am the light, which is verily the goal of self-realization, to realize we are that light. Uncle, can you share the story behind your bhajan, Jeevana Jyoti Tum Ho Sai?
Sure. Thank you. It was in 2001. I had a trip to Canada and I went. I never knew that, when I go abroad, I don't go, oh, I'm going to perform. No. I feel I go there because that's a great opportunity to sing every day Swami's glory and lose myself in that glory. That is why I go abroad. Not just that as a, you think you are a professional, you are performing. No, you are given an opportunity to sing the glory. You are given an opportunity to mix with devotees. You are given an opportunity to take that as pilgrimage. So I went to Canada. I asked somebody who called me, how many bhajans are there? Because they told 2.5 months you have to come. 2 months. I told how many bhajans? They told 12 bhajans. I told 60 days, why should I stay there? They told, no, brother, you come here. We need that time. So I thought, okay, some devotees are telling, we'll go. I went there. You know what happened? In 60 days, there were 72 programs for that bhajan program. So what happened after that 72 concerts? I came back home. I reached by 4:30 morning home, and the front room bed was rolled for me. I sat on that. I cried because I didn't expect that that I will lose myself in God's name for 2 months. And so many devotees I covered, like lakhs of devotees. I talked to around 6 lakhs people that time. Radio interview, TV interview, bhajans, this, that. And on top of that, Swami gave me so much, economically also. So when I came, I thought, who is my light of life? Swami, it is you, you and me. Jeevana Jyoti tumko sai. And why Premiki Jyoti Jalao? Because all devotees who came, heard the bhajan and talked to me, they told, brother, we could see the love of Swami from you. We could see Swami's love from you. So, where from the love comes? From Swami. So, Swami, please, Premiki Jyoti Jalao. Please always keep the lamp of love burning in me. जीवन के इस अंधियारों से साई दीप जलाओ. In this life, when we enter into this world, it creates certain illusion of darkness. From that, you give the light. Prem ki jyoti jalao. That's how the song came. I was, any bhajan comes, I don't know, I can't hold myself because it's beyond my control. It comes, it flows. So I have to submit. I have to melt. I should feel Swami's love throughout my being. So I can only cry out in tears of joy. So that's how this bhajan came. Thanks for reminding me this. Thank you. Sai
Thank you
bless.
so much, Uncle, for sharing this beautiful experience and helping us all feel Swami's love. I'd like to pass the next request to Tejas.
Sairam Hari Uncle, thank you so much for sharing your experiences so far. I want to shift focus a little bit and ask you about your composition, Aruna Ramana Sri Gurudeva. This is a bhajan that's very popular here in my center and one that I think everyone looks forward to every time it is offered during a bhajan session. So with that, I would love for you to share your experiences and motivation behind composing this bhajan. Sairam.
Aruna Ramana Sri Gurudeva. This bhajan came in Tiruvannamalai, we call it. Arunachaleshwara temple is there. Supposed to be a Siddha Bhumi, because Lord Shiva himself took the form of Agnilinga. So I went there with my friend. I stayed in Seshadri Swami Ashram, who was a Siddha Purusha. So the day I was leaving, I was sitting in the Samadhi of that Siddha Purusha, Seshadri Swami, and meditating for hours. That time within my body, the words are going. I don't know which is right or wrong. The words are flowing. Aruna Ramana Sri Gurudeva, Sesha Ramana Sadgurudeva, Bhava Bhaya Harana Sri Gurudeva, Guru Hai Sat Chit Anand Deva. Generally in bhajan, I was really astonished. Why these words out of nowhere? Because we always compose bhajan, like Rama, Krishna, Yesu, Allah, Daya Karo, Kripa Karo, all those things bhajans will come. Why this? Like, Aruna Ramana, I have never heard in my life this word at all. Sesha Ramana. I don't know why this one came. Anyhow, this bhajan came. So that day I came back home. I taught, bhajan class was there at home. I taught few of the students, means my bhajan students who were there. I was teaching them today's composition from Tiruvannamalai. So I share with you, I shared with them, and then they learned. And when I visited US in 2002, I sang this in Los Angeles, this bhajan, and Arunachal Shiva, because that was new that time. So I sang this Aruna Ramana Arunachal Shiva throughout US, if in my opinion. I sang everywhere, but I have the recording of Los Angeles. So I thought this bhajan nobody will take, because the words are funny for people to hear. Then somebody asked me, brother, why this Aruna Ramana? Why Sesha Ramana? What is the connection inside? Then I told, brother, I never thought about the meaning and compose, because the wordings came. In my opinion, Aruna means crimson red color. We call it Aruna because we call Surya as Aruna, right? Surya is crimson red in color. What crimson red stands for? It stands for enlightenment. So Ramana, who is enlightened, Ramana is Ramana, who is enlightened, is Sri Gurudeva. Because at the age of 16, he got the experience of enlightenment. So he is Sri Gurudeva. Seshadri Swamigal is a Siddha Purusha. Why Sesha Ramana? Because when Ramana was doing tapas in Patadalinga place in Arunachaleshwara temple, Seshadri Swamigal took care of him. So Seshadri Swamigal, who is attached to Ramana, Sesha Ramana, that Seshadri Swamigal, he is Satgurudeva. But who is our Sai? Bhagavan. Is he Sri Guru? Is he Satguru? Bhava Bhaya Harana. He is the one who makes us and makes us not fear about this ocean of life. Bhava Bhaya Harana. He removes the fear of samsara. Bhava Bhaya Harana Shri Sarvadeva. Then who is the true Guru? Rama came, Krishna came, all avatars came. But today also we are remembering, singing the glory. So who is the Guru? Guru hai Sat Chit Anand Deva. True Guru is truth, existence, bliss. This is the way, the wordings, the tune, everything came along. So this is the meaning. What Swami has given, I understand. So I thought of sharing with you, Tejas. Thanks for asking this question.
Thank you so much, Uncle. It was a great experience, very profound meaning and profound bhajan that I personally understand more. So thank you for that. I would now like to pass it on to Sai Sahana.
Thank you so much for sharing your powerful stories and anecdotes. The last bhajan that we'd like for you to share with us is actually one of my personal favorites. I heard it for the first time from a friend around 5 years ago. Since then, every time I see him, I ask him to sing that bhajan. So we'd love for you to share your personal memories and backstory.
What is that bhajan?
For Murali Dada He Ganeshama.
Oh, yeah, the beauty is always every new composition I have sung when I visited US or Canada or Australia or Middle East. I have always sung these new bhajans, and the greatest blessing is the young adults and youths of all abroad countries, they have taken it so seriously and they sing so beautifully. When I hear, I get really tears in the eyes, and I'm awestruck when I listen to all the young adults throughout the world. In India, many people don't know these bhajans, but abroad they know every bhajan what has been coming to me, given by Swami to me. So this bhajan, what happened at home, I always play a Kannada devotional by one Pandit, Venkatesh Kumar, very great singer of Karnataka. He always sings a devotional song, Tvaretu Jeevisabahude Hari Ninna Charanagala, means can anybody live leaving your lotus feet? That is what. Can any devotee live leaving the lotus feet of beloved Bhagwan? Can we leave the lotus feet of Hari and be far away? This is what everyone, Purandadas felt, Kanagadas felt, every saint felt. So I thought, who else felt? When I heard that tune and that wordings, he'll say, you can do tapas leaving father, mother. You can leave your wife and children also, but you cannot leave God's feet for a second. This is the meaning of that bhajan in Kannada. So what happened was, I was involved so deeply into the meaning, and suddenly I got into emotions of Surdas because he had nobody. He only thought about Krishna all the time. Mirabai, another person, though a princess, a Maharani, but she only had love for Krishna, not for any other mortal human beings. So, immediately the bhajan comes, Muralidhara, He Ganasha, Muralidhara. It is like addressing Muralidhara is, you are telling his name. Muralidhara is addressing. Like you want to call somebody, if somebody says, Sai Sahana, they'll say, suppose I have to call you, then I'll say, Sai Sahana, then you will turn back. So same way, when you are addressing the Lord, you say, Muralidhara, He Ganasham, pitch dark, Shama, Krishna. What does that represent? That represent the cloud and the rain, the grace of God. That is what represents Eganashama. Muralidhara Eganashama. Who is that for us? Partishvara Saisha. For us, that Krishna is Partishvara Saisha. Giridhari. Parthivihari. Why Giridhari? We should say Giridhari, we should say Krishna Murari. Because Krishna lifted Govardhanagiri. How can that Parthivihari come with Giridhari? Yes, to remove the problem of Braj people, he lifted Govardhan. But to remove the problems of all the devotees, our problems are carried by Lord Sai Krishna. That's why Giridhari Parthivihari. Because in my life, I lived very casual. I never thought about tomorrow. I never think about yesterday. I live at present. Yes, Swami has given me the satsang time. Nothing else matters to me. So who takes care of the burden of life? Who is that taking care of the burden of my life? It is Swami. Now I have given my burden to Swami. You have given Swami take care of my work or my examination, or my this, or my that. So each one of us, we give burden to Swami. So Giridhari Bhakti Vihari. That's why it comes softer voice with higher emotion, because we give so much of burden to Swami. Meera ke he Giridhari. Meera was, what do you say, the passive type of love. Surdas is calmed down, very submissive, because he cannot see. So he fell into the well. Krishna had to come, catch his finger, get him out of the well. After that, throughout his life, Krishna was catching his feet. Whenever Surdas asked, "Who are you?" he will say, "I am Shama." That's why in Surdas Bhajan, you can hear the word Sur kahe Sham suno, dasmoti hare. Because when Surdas was composing Sur Sagar Bhagavatam in Bhojpuri Brijvacha language, then Krishna was listening. That's why Sur kahe Sham suno. So Veera ke he Girdhari, Surdas ke Krishna Murari. If you sing that words, if you listen to that words when people sing, when they sing Meera ke he Girdhari, they will sing folk type with power. Meera ke he Girdhari. When they come to Surdas, they will sing Surdas ke Krishna. And they will sing with the feeling as though Krishna is catching the finger of Surdas and taking that lead. That tune is like that. Surdas ke Krishna Murari. Ghanashyama, Meghashyama. So he's the one with so much of, it's like you think of Meghashyama, a dark cloud, showering the rain. So same way, Krishna showering the grace on us. And all our burden he is taking care. Giridhari, Bhakti Vihari. With his background, with that bhajan of Pandit Venkatesh Kumar's, Tvaritu Jeevi Sadhavate influence, this bhajan came. And this is one of the bhajans like Jeevan Jyoti or any bhajan. All the bhajans come with emotion. It moves me a lot. And my heart melts. Thanks a lot. Sairam to you.
मुरलीधर हे घनश्यामा परतीश्वर साई श्यामा गिरिधारी परती बिहारी गिरिधारी परती बिहारी मुरलीधर हे घनश्यामा मुरलीधर हे घनश्यामा परतीश्वर साई श्यामा परतीश्वर साई श्यामा गिरिधारी परती बिहारी गिरिधारी परती बिहारी
bhajan is a true testament of the strongest connection that we'll ever have, which is to God. So I'll pass it off to Rashmi to share some final thoughts.
Sairam,
Sairam.
before we conclude this session, on behalf of Sai Region 3, I would like to thank you. We offer our most heartfelt gratitude and sincere thank yous. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom and the world of knowledge that you have. We are so grateful to Swami and for you for sharing your compositions and the glory of the bhajans with us. Jai Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you, Sairam. Thank you.
Sairam, what an amazing afternoon session. We are blessed to be able to enjoy this retreat virtually. As with all retreats, this too must come to an end. But if there's one thing we've learned from this experience, is that no matter the circumstance, we can always join together to share Swami's love, no matter where we may be physically. Your data plan should now be full and unlimited, and we hope to renew your contract at next year's annual retreat. We will now conclude with a vote of thanks, followed by closing prayers. Sairam.
Sairam, what a blessed day we have had so far, starting with opening prayers to Brother Hariharan's music to experience shared by Swami student. Thank you, Brother Shankar, for speaking to us about your wonderful trips in such detail and your vast experiences with Swami. I'm surely energized by plugging my Innernet to Sai via Internet with Sai. I would like to take time to say thank you all SSC teachers, coordinators, and parents who had worked hand in hand to reach children through online. It sure was fun and educational. My respect is with you all, and I humbly thank you all. Some centers planned for summer program. Since it is online, they have extended this to region. Please await an email from coordinator and take part of it. Subbu and Vinny, would you like to add some new words here?
Sairam, everyone. I would like to begin this thank you with Swami's blessings. Although we couldn't meet in person like last year, the service coordinators achieved more than what we expected. This is a real test from Swami in regards to service. There is one extremely dedicated person I would like to thank personally. She just finished numerous courses of intense chemo. With Bhagavan's grace, she was able to pour her energy into serving Swami. She made over 100 masks during this period. Besides adults, SSC children are also pivotal in helping during this pandemic. Like them, there are many of us that are truly involved with the helping people during this time of need. I want to thank Swami for an amazing team of people dedicated to service from this region, especially my loving service coordinators. Thank you so much. Sairam.
Sairam to all. Thank you, Sister Chitra and Brother Subbu. It has been such a wonderful day today, won't you agree? And this is thanks to so many people who have put so much effort in bringing this online retreat to you today. First, I would start by thanking all the servicemen as well as the frontline workers who have put themselves and their lives up front to protect this country on this Memorial Day. Thank you. All this program today has come together as an effort, a group, a joint, united effort by so many different people. My ultimate thanks is to Swami, of course. I would like to start by thanking the AV team led by Brother Andres, Brother Jaime, as well as Sister Archana, who worked diligently with different teams to put together several segments of today's online offering to Swami. I want to extend my thanks to all the devotional coordinators and the group leads from different centers who have worked together and added several bhajan offerings, prayer offerings from their centers and groups to make this online retreat a truly united joint effort to place at Swami's lotus feet. Thank you all. I also wanted to thank Brother Ravi Nakina from Atlanta, who helped us with that beautiful TV Hariharan Sir musical offering today. Thank you. My ultimate thanks is for Swami, of course. Our dear mother, our sweet Lord, has blessed us with so much love, and for us to stay connected to his network all the time, and also for showering his grace so that we will always stay under that protection of his coverage of his grace. Please join us for bhajans and aarti, which will follow this program. But may we all meet again next year for our annual Region 3 Retreat 2021. Thank you and Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे 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 सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
శివ శివ శివయ్యన రాధా మీ చింతలెల్ల బాపి కొన మనరా. శివ 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 అనరాగా మీ చింతలెల్ల బాపి కొన మనరా. శివమెత్తి జగమంత తిరిగేరు ఓ చిత్తమా నీకెంత సిగ్గులేదు.
ఓ చిత్తమానేకెంత సిగ్గులేదే.
అవని సుఖంబులకు అల్లాడెడు నీకు ఆవలికి కలిగేది అది ఏది.
అవని సుఖంబుల అల్లాడెను ఆవలికి మిగిలేది అది ఏది.
పొద్దుబోక ఊరి వారి సుక్కులంటే మీరు సిద్ధమౌదురే కడు శ్రద్ధతోడా.
పొద్దుబోక ఊరు వారి స్థుతులన్నా మీరు సిద్ధమౌదురే కడు శ్రద్ధతోడా.
ముద్దు ముద్దుగాను భగవత్ పుచ్చటాలు చెప్పు వేళ వద్దికగా నుండరేలా ఓ చెవులా.
ముద్దుగాను సాయి ముచ్చటలు చెప్పునప్పుడు బుద్ధికగా నుండరేవో చెవులారా.
అనిమాలు సినిమాలు పలుమారు మీరు చని చని కనియును తనివి.
అనిమాలు సినిమాలు పలుమారు చని చని కని నన్ను తనివి.
క్షణమును దైవ సన్నిధి నిలువగా కనులారా కడు కష్టమతే.
క్షణమును దైవ సన్నిధి నిలువగా కనులారా మీకు కడు కష్టం.
శివ 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 శివ
శివ శివ శివ శివ శివ शिव शिव शिवयन राधा जगल वाट पद बनराधा शिव 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 शिवयन राधा जगल वाट पद बनराधा
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्ति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आभस्वान्ता ओम जय जगदीश माता पिता गुरुदैव हरियन्तयो नीवे स्वामी हरियन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राश्रय ओम जय जगदीश उद्गररूपमुदसि साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेवा मंगलारति मंगलारति अंतरगिरिधार ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण 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 सत्य नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण सत्य नारायण 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 जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् अशीमवहु वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाहमये शतशाय वहिष्ठायशि नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Ehad, Adonai, Ehad, Adonai, Ehad. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. 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 Saishwaraya vidmahe, Satyadevaya dhimahi, Tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Paramam pavitram bhava vibhuti, Paramam vichitram leela vibhuti. Artha ishtartha moksha pradhanam bhava vibhuti, Vinavashrayami. Sacred, holy and supreme is Bhava's vibhuti. Pouring forth in brilliant stream, display of vibhuti. So auspicious is its font, it grants liberation. Bhava's vibhuti, its power protects. Sai Baba's vibhuti, its power protects me.
Sairam, the thought for the week. There is direct connection between you and me. No one can break the intimate relation and relationship that we two have. Go anywhere, here, there, wherever you see. There is only one side that you love everywhere. Go to any village, go anywhere and take up a job. I will be with you, in you. Treasure this feeling alone. Strengthen the thought that Swami is by your side always. Your shadow follows you wherever you go, doesn't it? Therefore, I am your shadow. Well, shadow? Not shadow. I am demonstrating what is within you. Therefore, I am you, and you are mine. Treasure the relation between these two. Divine Discourse 2001.